Good looking night, folks. Snowbound Howicramar at the minute, just like the rest in north of Scotland. Well, west of Scotland I think's got a fair bit, although some bits in further west seem to have escaped the worst of it. But we've had a fair bit of snow here, and it sounds like we possibly had a minus 26 here 2 nights ago. It's not officially recognised, but it was a guy who was using thermal imaging for space, and there was little pockets that were especially cold, and Tarland was one of 3 or 4, I think, it said it was minus 26. So
Kinbrace was another place, Tarland and Whitehouse in Ufford.
Oh, so Alan Taylor was right about his low temperatures. It was especially cold. Usually think we get it a bit harder than Ufford. That's a bit soft, actually, as you can. But anyway, welcome to Live for the Lounge number 48.
48,
aye. So yep. So here we are. Much the same.
Valentine's Day on Sunday. I'm hoping you're all mining.
Yeah.
You're mining.
Well, I've mic'd, and I mic'd to the point that I mic'd the card but forgot the envelope when I bought it. So Shona's already got her card. That's keenness for you, and it's certainly trying to maintain a good repartee in the house. Although I'm a bit worried, when I had post a week, which is
post for about a week and a half. Actually.
It's getting a little bit concerning because I'm waiting for Shona's Valentine present to arrive.
Well, I got yours in plenty of time.
Well,
so
I thought I was in plenty of time. It said it was going to take 2 days, so we'll have to wait and see about that.
Aye, but that's Tarland time though. 2 days for normal time's about a week and a half Tarland time.
It's cutting edge, state of the art. I think you'll find here in the house. So
we're not really having a Valentine's special. It's just
no, but there's well, we've mentioned it, so there you go. You can somebody might remember now that was going to forget. If it hadn't been for this. So.
We might be getting Nobel Peace Prize for relations.
Well, anyway.
So what's in the box? 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 What's in the box?
And fit is in the box.
Yeah, little.
There you go. Now, if it came out the garden, it could be a frozen something, a frozen neep or a frozen tatty, but it's nae anything organic. And that's all I'm saying. It's all the clue you're going to get. So there you go. Fits in the box. Also, fits the beer, the ale. Now look at that. It's I'm not going to say much about this. It's a Scottish beer, as always.
What?
It's ice Scottish.
Quite fruity.
Fruity. Well,
I think it's
nice cider. I'm not trying to.
No, but it does smell.
I'm not going to tell you the strength because sometimes that would be enough for some folk. Oh, I can't what that is. You real ale drinkers probably will can't be kind of look and the type of
my kind of thing. Sorry. Thanks, somebody that just saw my bouffing face.
Yep, I've seen it before, of course.
Okay.
Right, going to move on now, and we're going to start playing. So, I thought I would start with a set of pipe marches, and this is because I heard somebody playing the first tune in this set at the beginning of the week, and I can't mind what it was, and it just put it in my head, and I thought, that's a great tune, I think we're going to play that on Friday. So, set of pipe marches, 6/8 pipe marches. When folks speak about pipe marches, they generally give the time signature because they're obviously quite different. If it's a 2/4 pipe march, it's very different from a 6/8. So this is a set of 6/8 pipe marches. The first thing's the Binall Highlanders, followed by Angus McKinnon, and then we're going to finish with the 10th Battalion of the Highland Light Infantry crossing the Rhine. Now, I don't care if they were the first regiment to cross the Rhine during the Second World War, but I've a very strong feeling they were the first British regiment to cross the Rhine, but I'll let you check. But I'm sure I've heard that before. So anyway, let's get cracking with a set of pipe marches. tunes that.
I've not quite caught up with the hellos yet,
You
but
got
I'll do a few of them anyway. So hello to Elaine and George Mitchell, Lorelei Bach is joining us, Gordon Calder in Bonnie Widney, Alison McDonald in the San Francisco Bay Area, Tommy and Sonia in Huntley, Roy and Ann Dyer watching over in Stannardsville in Virginia, hello both, Cole Finley's in Minnesota, Alexander Thompson's watching, Daria and Gordon Muir at the other side of Thailand, Leah Rossville in a frosty bucket, Andrew Brandy,
like the rest of the North East.
Andrew Brandy's joining us for Lawrence Kirk, Sandy Thompson's up in Dingwall, your mum and dad's just up the road, Sandy White out in Mintlaw's joining us, Robin and Morag Dempsey for doing in the borders, Doreen Wood and Co, hello all, Ula in Stockholm's watching, Frank and Lorraine Ribbons out in Abine, we actually saw you the day but you didn't see us. We were out getting our shopping at the Copy and you were standing using it to somebody on the road and I did wave but you were too busy yapping.
Near the potholes.
Near potholes. Karen and Mike Fraser doing in a snubby Glasgow. Anne and Paul out in Lumfannon. I'm wondering if you're here for your tea tonight. Just keep us updated please. Ross Dickey's watching. Shona Robertson and all the other Robertsons doing in the Aberdeen Arms are joining us. Mary Miles in San Diego is watching. Alistair McDonald, just up the road. Deborah Howard in Williamsburg in Virginia. We've been to Colonial Williamsburg.
Aye, I have actually.
Great.
Spent an afternoon there.
Brilliant.
Just before Christmas, so you'll kind of exactly if it's like it's a bit special.
So
amazing place, like a living museum. You've got all these folk there, D&I, the actual trades and crafts. It's worth going to Virginia just to go and see it. As well as other things, like Jamestown is not too far away either, and it's a brilliant museum, and again another living history exhibition for you've got kind of some of the native folk, like show you how the natives used to.
How good canoes?
How good a canoe? We all had
so
a how
we learned
good
how
canoe.
to do it to an oyster shell. Who else is watching? My mum and dad, Grace and Matt out in Huntley, Alan and Rona, Taylor in Afford. Alan says it's Blindrift over there. Tracy and Hugh Adelsey, a couple of regulars are watching, as is Harry Lash in the Netherlands, Elizabeth McMillan in Ottawa, Heather Morrison in Strachan, Margot and Edward Stewart in Tamantoul. You'll probably be blocked in for about 3 months now. Julian and David out in the west end of Tarland, they're joining us tonight. Joe and Pat in Kirriemuir, Kate and Jim in Garlogie, and Shirley and John folks in Skene.
And take a breath.
We've got a few guesses for the box.
Okay.
What's in the box? 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 What's in the box?
You had a story actually. Somebody, their wife is a teacher or something.
It was Sandy Thompson. Sandy's wife. Sandy sent me a brilliant message today that they got a delivery at his wife's school, and it was a box, and she, much to everybody else's bewilderment, walked to the head teacher's office with this box singing, "Oh, what's in the box? What's in the box?" Idea at the time. Well, I've actually had about 3 or 4 messages from folks that say, "Oh, see when the postie comes, we sing what's in the box."
We're going to hear a copyright issue. It goes to Terry Wogan shortly.
Right, Elaine Mitchell thinks chocolate hearts, Cole Finlay thinks toffee sweeties, Frank Ribbons thinks a lump of plasticine, Alan Taylor thinks icicles are a snabba, and Alison McDonald thinks a childhood toy.
Okay, well these are all great.
I'll wait for the beer because I've only got.
I'll just do it. I can hear. What have you got so far?
Frank said Brody's look-alike beer for con artists, and Alison said 7 giraffes.
Okay, well they're good entries as well. I think I maybe had 7 giraffes one time, 4 actually. So I'm still working through the Captain Sammy Fraser music, but I'm getting there. I've done over 200 now, 201. I was too busy getting ready for the night, so I didn't record on it the day, but as of yesterday it was 201. And I keep finding tunes that I've never really looked at. And I thought I'd play this in here, which is called The Laird of Brodie. It's a slow strathspey. Or as it says, it's in a slow strathspey style, so it doesn't mean it was necessarily written as that. And The Laird of Brodie, it says, was apparently composed by the roving king, who was King James V. And he used to dress up as a commoner to go haking about the countryside to see if everybody was up to, because obviously when you look like a peasant, folk are kind of mere after guard. certainly if they kent you were the king, they would treat you totally differently. So he used to go around, he used to like mixing with the common folk, and he learnt a lot. So he was a real, what would you call him? Oh no, it's I can't get restoration. It's no restoration.
Reformation?
No, it's no reformation. It's
Sorry, I wasn't even listening.
Renaissance prince in Europe. He was a great guy, very popular at the time, which is not something you could say about the Stuart kings. Some of them they were a bit of a mixed bunch, but he seemed to have been well liked, and he's the one who married Mary of Guise, and his daughter became Mary Queen of Scots. So there we go. And so this is the Laird O'Brody, and I'm going to play the Well Kent Scottish Reel Pretty Peggy after it, just because I feel like it. Okay, here we go. So, I would probably not have played that, except I thought it was just quite an interesting to hear something that is, well, it's dates for the 16th century, aye. So quite, it's a very old Scottish tune actually, if it's right, because how Captain Simon Fraser kent that, other than probably through the oral tradition of the story being passed on, and there's no doubt he was very fond of music, and like a lot of these Renaissance era princes and royalty, they were well educated and interested in art and architecture, so he could well have done. It's a bit like King Henry VIII supposedly wrote Greensleeves, which Shona sung the tune of last, was it a few weeks ago?
It was a Christmas carol that I sang. Or God grant you a Merry New Year. We've got quite a lot of hellos and guesses.
Okay.
Hello to Catherine Brown. Sally Day Butler's joining us. Sandy Mathers, nice to see you. Liz Calder's joining us. Shane McLeod says it's Carl and Snowy in Shetland. Jake Buchins and Peterhead. Margaret McInnes says it's drifting in Glenkindie. Isabel Lang is having a break for the shoveling in Ardguy. And Bud Freeman is watching for Athens, Georgia. Oh, and there's been an update from Anne and Paul about the tea situation. They had chicken fajitas washed down with a lovely Australian gin and tonic.
Excellent.
What's in the box?
Never disappoint.
What's in that box? What's in that box? What's in that box? Rosie Robertson thinks a frozen Brussels sprout. Ross Dickey thinks brass ornaments. Elizabeth McMillan thinks a wooden heart. Gordon Muir thinks all the roses for Valentine's Day.
I've been left outside in the car, frozen solid.
Sandy Thompson thinks a brass badge for a harness. Sandy White thinks chocolate Valentine hearts. Rona in the village thinks my wedding ring. It's nay because it's on my finger.
What the hell, what the size of a stain it had in.
Isabel Lang thinks a bottle opener and Jamie Bowers thinks ski wax.
Okay, these are all good
A
actually.
few beer guesses. Gillian Needham thinks Brewdog's Elvis Juice, as does Ross Dickey. Andrew Brandy thinks Bellhaven Green King. Sandy Thompson thinks Kilt Lifter IPA. And Jamie Bowers thinks Loch Lomond Brave Hop. There you go.
Well, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
So,
and my mum said, is that Mary Geyser
it's
Which is
probably, I
quite
bet you guys probably, it's the same
Guys,
thing.
guys, I think comes from a Gaelic word meaning a circle of trees, and if you do go up to the Geyser it's circled by trees.
Oh well, it's got nothing to do with
Nothing.
Mary Aggies.
No.
But there was there was a lot of kind of French influences coming into Scotland around about that time because they were kind of close allies. But that's a different story. Anyway, tomorrow is an anniversary. I doubt if somebody listening that's from Scotland that wouldn't have heard of this, because it's notorious and famous and celebrated in song and poetry and painting. Tomorrow is the anniversary of the Massacre of Glencoe, which took place on the 13th of February 1692. They've written books on on this event, so what I would suggest is, rather than me going on for too long trying to tell you about it, get this book here. John Preble's book, Glencoe. I like his stuff because he writes really, really well, but the research and study that he does is probably second to none. He's an English chap, John Preble. He's probably dead actually, if I think about it, but he wrote some great books on Scotland and the Highlands in particular. There was Glencoe, Culloden, and then the Highland clearances. And I think to this day they're probably the best books written about the subject. But yeah,
Did Nigel Tranter write any?
There were events that come into some of his stories, certainly, but I haven't read any that do deal with that.
Did you not take over one of them to Anne and Roy Dye last time you were over?
I did indeed.
I wondered if they've read
like
it.
a Scottish missionary, I took books of Scottish history to get the folk from we're abroad. But anyway, it's pretty grim actually. I mean, the Massacre of Glencoe, it's as bad as it sounds. The thing is, Scotland at that time, it was quite a wild place, and massacres weren't unknown, nor for various times uncommon. It wasn't the fact it was a massacre. It was a massacre done under trust and sanctioned by the government. That's what upset folk, because the 120 troops, the men of the Earl of Argyll's regiment, under Captain Robert Campbell, he was the of Glenlyon, they had lived with the MacDonalds at Glencoe for about 2 weeks, and they ate with him, they slept in the same houses, they played shinty together, and then on the 13th of February, as they slept, they turned on them. So they reckon there was about between 30 and 40 folk actually killed. They think there was probably a lot of folk died in the teeth of a blizzard which was in Glencoe that night, which also helped folk escape, because it was just about impossible to track them, but folk froze to death. So it's pretty awful. Easy to find out stuff about it, but I would say that's the best thing.
Was it not MacDonald's who escaped from Glencoe that came? Oh, sorry.
Yes, I was coming to that.
Sorry.
The main reason it happened was they were notorious cattle lifters and Jacobites, and they were seen as being just a thorn in the side of government. And the official reason was because King William of Orange had become the King of Britain, and there was an order went out that the Jacobites who supported King James, who'd fled the country, had to give an oath of allegiance by a certain date, or they would meet the full force of the law. So MacIan, Alistair MacDonald of Glencoe, known as MacIan, 12th of his name, because of the appalling weather, he was late in getting there, and he went to Fort William, and they said, "Oh, you can't have a ticket here. You have to ticket to Inverary to Inverary Castle to the Duke of Argyll. And so through blizzards, he went over mountains, through passes in appalling weather, and got there late, and apparently was in tears trying to mark this oath of allegiance. So they kent he'd done it, but the order went out anyway, and it's pretty grim. It says, "You are hereby ordered to fall upon the rebels, the MacDonalds of Glencoe, and to put all to the sword under 70. And that came from the Master of State, or the Secretary of State to Scotland, and was signed by William of Orange himself. He denied he kent on about it, but it's pretty clear the Kent fit was going on. And McKeon was a fearsome character, and there's a wee description of him. Guy saw him. Next came Glencoe, terrible in unwanted arms, covered as to his breast with rawhide, and towering far above his whole line by head and shoulders. 100 men, all of gigantic mould, all mighty in strength, accompany him as he goes to war. He himself turning his shield in his hand, flourishing terribly his sword, fierce in aspect, rolling his wild eyes, the horns of his twisted beard curling backwards, seems to breathe forth wrath wherever he goes." So there you go, that's McKeon, Alistair MacDonald of Glencoe, murdered in his bed. So, get to play a tune. It's maybe nothing you're thinking about. This is a tune called "Woman of the Glen," and none of the soldiers that were involved were comfortable with what was going on. There was folk trying to warn their hosts, and what this particular chap, Hugh Mackenzie, was Glengyle's piper, and he stood in a rock and played this tune by way of warning. It's called "Woman of the Glen," and the point being that only MacDonald who heard it would have understood the warning and hopefully got out of there. So there's reasons why quite a lot of folk actually got to Roa. So this is the tune that was supposedly played by him that morning. It's a lovely tune that I had never seen that tune until this afternoon. I've been looking for it, and I put out a message, and
You phoned Jack.
Dr. Jack, well, he didn't ken it at the time. He thought, oh, I've heard of it. But he said, I'll go and look. And he found it in Pipe Major George S. McLennan's collection. And there it was, Woman of the Glen. So thanks to Jack for coming up, because I couldn't find it anywhere. There was one version of a lassie playing the harp, and she was in it, but I played her harp. Was it a tune? It was, which is a bit of a shame actually, but there you go. But I quite like the fact there's that kind of link to something that might have been heard on the day. And as Shona was, I want to say to you, got a wee bit of family links to that, because I'm a quarter Cramar on my granny's side. Granny's still up the road there. I'm going to be 98 next month, and apparently the first Cramars were descended from a Peter MacDonald, who was a fugitive in a massacre at Glencoe in 1692. So there you go, we've got a wee bit of the cattle thief in us. And it's funny, Granny she used to say about the Cramars, we're descended from sheep stealers. So well, there would be a bit of that would be true in a lot of families for the northeast, I'm pretty sure. So so there, that's how we've got a wee bit of a link. So I'm just going to play a couple of quick tunes to finish. This is North of the Grampians, and then John O'Groat's House to finish. Tunes by Captain Simon Fraser.
Cool.
Right, time for the glamorous Shona Donaldson.
Don't go anywhere because we've got a few birthdays to do.
Okay.
So, Callum Wood, Dorian and Melvin's son Callum, it was his birthday earlier in the week, as was Rona Landdragon's birthday. I think it was yesterday. Yep. And today is Shona Pearson's birthday. Hey, so we've got Callum, Rona and Shona. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday Callum, Rona and Shona, happy birthday to you. Hey, I hope I've gotten everybody's birthdays.
No, you missed the most important thing. We have a new member of the family.
We do.
Born at was it
Monday? The day before it. Oh, the day before our granddad's birthday, it was Dennis's birthday as well.
It was Monday.
Happy birthday, Dennis.
my niece Ailey, who's a great fiddle player, she had another baby, and it's called Demi.
She's called, not it's called. She's called Demi.
I haven't seen it yet, so. But so she's in the hospital at the minute, but they're doing fine.
Yeah.
And
so we've got a little
looking
baby.
forward to seeing her at some point this year.
Great auntie and uncle.
I'm a great uncle. Absolutely fantastic.
So we're delighted that Demi's here, nice and
well,
safe, and congratulations to Liam and Ailey, and also to Glamma, to Granny Heather and Dennis, and it was Dennis's birthday as well. So happy birthday, dear Dennis! Happy birthday to you.
Go and get your spoons out and play along there, Dennis, because he was a fantastic spoon player. I was calling him spoons earlier in the week. So anyway, all the best, Dennis. Happy birthday! And I'm going to jump out the road and leave it to Shona.
So I've got a few more hellos to say. Flash of the hairy spawning on the way by. A few more hellos. Liz and Roger Court in Lincolnshire are watching. Jack Taylor and Abines joining us. Katinka Baxton in the Netherlands. Louise Auerbach in Germany. I think I've said that. Okay, I'm not quite sure. And Peter Headland in Sweden. So, into the box. What's in the box? I'll get a little shot. We've got Paul Gray. Thinks it's a sphere made from a similar form made from copper and zinc alloy, or to the common man a brass monkey. Harry Lash thinks wax or soap fragrant hearts. Jack Taylor thinks rosin. It's going to be rosin one of these days, isn't it? Have we done rosin?
Well, I wouldn't shut my rosin about that much.
Kadinka thinks a button, and Daria thinks a frozen moose that Socks took in as a show of her love.
She usually eats them.
She usually eats the moose. In fact, we got moose guts in the kitchen flare the other day because she'd spewed it back up.
Well, she might have just left them because she didn't fancy the stinky bits.
Well, Paul had to clean it up. Anyway, the beer. Jack Taylor thinks Dun Brewing Glenelg. Jamie Bowers thinks Weizen from Windswept Brewery in Lossiemouth. And Shona Pearson thinks Clanify from Brewside. Can I put this down, Paul, or are you done with this?
No,
Can I just put it there?
Yeah, you can.
I'm not shifting it too far. Okay, so Paul just did a lovely tune to do with the Massacre of Glencoe, and I thought I would sing the song. I first heard the Corrie singing that, as I think a lot of folk did, and it was actually written in the 1960s by Jim McLean, and the song was written before that book that John Preble wrote, so it was prior to John Preble writing that book. So I'm going to give this a bash. This is one that I think is in the Donaldson family songbook, and of course I should say we're talking about the MacDonalds of Glencoe, and of course Donald's son is MacDonald as well, because MacDonald is son of Donald, Mac is son of. So we're just the kind of Englishified version of MacDonald. We're Donald's son.
Clanronald.
Yeah, we're from Slate of Skye, MacDonald of Clanronald. So yeah, this is one that we used to sing every Hogmanay and party in the house. Granny would get in the piano, and this was a favourite. It was in the Donaldson family songbook. So I've kent it for a long, long time, but I've never actually sung it in public at all. So I'll give this a bash. This is the Massacre of Glencoe. Can I maybe just get a quick... I want a bottom B off you, if that's okay, Paul. Okay, so if you can the chorus, join in. Oh, cruel as the snow that sweeps Glencoe and covers the grave of Donald, and cruel was the foe that raped Glencoe and murdered the house of MacDonald. They came in a blizzard, we offered them heat, a roof for their heats, dry shoes for their feet. We wined them and dined them, they ate of our meat, and slept in the house of MacDonald. Oh, cruel as the snow that sweeps Glencoe and covers the grave of Donald, and cruel was the foe that raped Glencoe and murdered the house of MacDonald. They came from Fort William, we murder in mind. The Campbell had orders King William had signed, but all to the sword those words underlined, and leave nane alive could MacDonald. sweeps Glencoe and covers the grave o' Donald, and cruel was the foe that raped Glencoe and murdered the house o' MacDonald. They came in the night when the men were asleep, that band of Argyles through snow soft and deep, like murdering foxes among helpless sheep. They slaughtered the house o' MacDonald. Oh, cruel is the snow that sweeps Glencoe and covers the grave o' Donald. Oh, cruel is the foe that raped Glencoe and murdered the house o' MacDonald. Some died in their beds at the hands of the foe, some fled into the night and were lost in the snow. Some lived to accuse him, watched to rock the first blow, but gone was the house o' MacDonald. Oh, cruel is the snow that sweeps Glencoe and covers the grave o' Donald, and cruel was the foe that raped Glencoe and murdered the house o' MacDonald. Can you shove me over a hanky, please? I've got another runny nose, and I ken why it always happens when I start singing. There must be something going on. Sorry, very rude of me to sit.
Well, Andrew William Brandy, he thinks it's Brewdog beer.
Okay.
Elizabeth Court thinks in the box it's a Cupid model with bow and arrow. Appropriate. Ted Cremar, he says, sorry I'm a wee bit late, but he says it looks like you've got plenty of snow up the road there.
We do.
Which is true. And Bonnie is watching for Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm trying to think how I came Milwaukee. Was Happy Days in Milwaukee?
Sunday, Monday, Happy Days.
It seems to be in my head.
It's the fun, isn't it?
Rolling Rock beer, I think, comes through there as well.
Milwaukee. I don't know.
Bonnie will tell me. She'll tell me if I'm right or wrong. But there you go.
Okay, I'm going to sing one more song if I can get rid of this snockery nose. I'm so sorry. This was actually a song that I wrote myself years ago. When I was singer in residence in Huntly for Devon, well, it was Devon Arts at the time, it's now Devon Projects. And they're quite interesting actually because they don't have a gallery as such. Their ethos is the town is the venue. So there's lots of different things run about the town. So my Bogies, Banks and Braes is actually a handwritten manuscript that's in the Masonic Hall. Paul, I think you've got music up in the Crown Bar. Mm-hmm. Folk have got stuff dotted all around, so it's quite nice. So I'm going to sing Bogies, Banks and Braes that I wrote for my residency there. I took a CD out called Short Nichts and Lang Kisses. And are you okay there?
Yeah, I'm just
Bonnie says yes, Happy Days. And they have a statue of the Fawns. I hope he's doing that. So this song I wrote because actually Huntly, it's got two rivers in it, the Devon and the Bogie. And the Bogie had bleach fields beside it, and we still have Bleachfield Street. There was a massive linen industry in Huntly in the late 18th century. It was especially a guy called Hugh McVie, where McVie Street comes from. Hugh McVie was an Irishman that came across and really built up the linen industry. And at one point, Huntly actually produced a third of all Scotland's linen. So we think of Huntly now to do with the Bothy Ballads and Fairman and that kind of side of things, but actually it was a massive linen industry with the mills in the bleaching. So I thought it'd be interesting if a bleaching lassie met a pluming laddie, and it didn't turn out off a wheel, but actually I didn't think she's that bothered anyway. So this is Bogies, Banks and Braes. I met my lad by the bleach fields, for Bogie's banks are green, and he said to me, "Oh my Annie, you're the bonniest lass I've seen." But I kenned his heart was false by the roving of his eye. But by Bogie's banks and by Bogie's braes, he's bade me down to lie. He promised me all the riches that were on Bogie's side, gold rings and silver fairlies, if I would be his bride, and his cherry lips and curly hair enticed me for tastery. So I left your Bogie's banks and braes to follow him all the day. But a plumman's life is a weary life, the work is hard and sair, and if the money's a fee in time, for me he didna care. For there's lasses bra in Ilkatoon, his heart that was not true. So I left my plume and laddie, and never did I rue. So come all you bleaching lassies, and listen unto me. Never fall he a plumman lad, or a single queen you'll be, for they'll never bide in just a place that in their hearts taste array. There's better lads in Hundleyton, bleaching at the clays. There's better lads in Hundleyton, by Bogie's banks and braes. So there you go. Bogie's, Banks and Braes.
Well done.
Thank you very
Lovely.
much.
Paul Gray says it's in their deeds, the house
In
deeds,
the title deeds.
that they're not allowed to bleach linen in front of the house.
Ooh, so you can do your drawers out the back, Paul, that's alright. Not at the front, but out the back.
That's funny.
Oh, that's funny.
Roger Court, he thinks it's a heart-shaped locket.
Okay.
So there you go.
Right, I'll pass you back over to Paul.
Okay, I'm going to sort this seat out.
Sorry, I come in a wee bit closer. I'll tweak it back for you.
Oh, okay,
There you go.
It's yours.
Like that.
It's fine.
Good.
Right. Yep. We're slick as anything and it changes here.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to play, well, I end up changing. In fact, I was going to play, but I'm going to try this. I was going to play a tune that I wrote called Glencoe, which is nothing to do with the massacre, but I wrote it when I was in Glencoe. I was at the Oban Fiddlers Rally for I was a guest, and I made a point of going into Glencoe before I come home, just because of the kind of Cramar link. I thought, when I'm here, I've got the time, let's just go. So I wrote it there, but I think we've had enough Glencoe tunes today, so I'm going to play something else. This is another tune by Captain Simon Fraser, and it's called, what it translates to Gaelic as The Fall of Foyers. And Foyers is about roughly halfway up Loch Ness on the east side of the loch. I'm sure most folk ken a bit about Loch Ness. The monster might be the main thing anybody from overseas has heard of. I've never seen it myself, I have to say, but it is a beautiful bit of the world there, and Captain Simon Fraser really wrote this in tribute to a beautiful part of the country that he dearly loved. And the falls are spectacular. Now, you have to park a car at the top of the road and walk down, and it's fairly steep. And I suppose about quarter of a mile to half a mile to get down. It's maybe not quite as far as that, but the falls themselves are definitely spectacular and well worth going to see. I've seen a few folk there, and I would say if you're close by, mark the effort to go down. So I'm going to play this, but I've never played this in public before. I only just played it yesterday, so I'm going to say it's quite tricky, folks. So if I bollocks it up, I'm very sorry.
Anderson.
Right. It's quite unusual. Like I rather liked it actually, but it's about the only Scottish traditional fiddle tune, apart from Scott Skinner stuff, that can be just totally off the scale. But genuinely traditional tune that goes so far up the neck, and so it's not often you have to play that high up in a traditional Scottish fiddle tune, but that does go right up. So anyway, but I think it's a lovely tune, quite different, and I'm going to try and start playing it. I've never heard anybody play it before, which surprises me because Simon Fraser's tunes are really quite rather nice, I think.
They are. Now, somebody said, who was it? Alexander Thompson worked at the power station for years.
Okay. Far away, I need to get my bits of paper. Now the trouble with doing so many of these shows, you end up playing loads and loads of stuff you didn't really ken very well. So you end up having to tuck out bits of music. So there you go. So just before I play this, I just thought I would say it's some of you might have heard of Nan Shepherd. Quite a few of you probably. She didn't write a huge amount. Wasn't a great deal of books, but what she did write's very, very good. And her best Kent work is called The Living Mountain, and it's been described as the finest book written about mountains ever written. And it was written in sat in a drawer. It was written before or during the Second World War, and it sat in a drawer for years and years and years. The manuscript. She was friendly with Neil Gunn, famous Scottish author, and they wrote, but there was never any romantic link as far as I can tell. But her stuff's really nice. I mean, the Living Mountain, it's not a big book. I mean, I bought it because I was asked to do music for a film, The Living Mountain, that never got made. Some of you might mind a band called the Skids. They were a Scottish punk band that were fairly, really successful, but I ken Richard Jobson, and he became a film critic and then ended up being a movie maker. He started directing movies, and he was planning to make a film adaptation of The Living Mountain, but it never happened, and for various reasons. But anyway, yeah, Shona, what would you say?
I would also like to say, add to this, Shirley, John Fuchs bought Shirley this for her Christmas, and she's rereading it.
She's read it and she's read it.
She's read it years ago.
Right, okay.
And she's rereading it.
To be honest, I mean, it wouldn't take you that long to get through it. I mean, Shona.
It's a lovely book.
but the writing's lovely. I'll get a wee taste of it just since, because I very nearly called my album The High Summit, The Living Mountain, just because I liked the stuff and I was quite inspired by it. But there seemed to be quite a lot of stuff about Nan Shepherd came out at the same time, and there was loads of folk were writing. She's on a £5 banknote actually, and then an interesting thing is she's got a band on her head, and a lot of folk don't realise that's cellulose film. It's kind of been mocked. She kind of mocked it up for a photo, but quite a striking woman, great mountaineer. So a little bit of writing just for you to get a taste. Well worth getting the book. Summer on the high plateau can be as delectable as honey. It can also be a roaring scourge. To those who love the place, both are good, since both are part of its essential nature. And it is to know its essential nature that I am seeking here. To know that is with the knowledge that is a process of living. This is not done easily nor in an hour. It is a tale too slow for the impatience of our age, not of immediate enough import for its desperate problems. There's a wee bit about the water here and light. Light in Scotland has a quality I have not met elsewhere. It is luminous without being fierce, penetrating to immense distances with effortless intensity. So on a clear day one looks without any sense of strain from Morven and Caithness to the Lammermuirs and out past Ben Nevis to Morar. There you go. I'm going to stop there. That's all you're going to get. It should be enough just to lure you in, but it's lovely. It's a wee bit philosophical in bits, but some of the writing's beautiful. So I'm going to play 3 of my own tunes to finish up. The first is called The Lord of the Isles, and this is to do with the Iona stuff I was writing. So,
did you say why you were reading The Living Mountain?
It was it was.
You did say it was Nan Shepherd's birthday today.
I think I did, didn't it? It was Nan Shepherd was born on this day in 1893.
I'm sorry,
maybe I didn't. Maybe I just started blethering and I totally missed the point. I kind of Billy Connolly shooting off at a tangent sort of way. I get carried away with my own tongue. I forget if I started saying it in the first place. Anyway, it's the anniversary of Nan Shepherd's birthday. So she was born on this day, 1893. Thank you, Shona, because I think I have a funny feeling you might be right there. So anyway, I just thought rather than try and play something that's associated, I would just read a little bit of the writing. So I'm going to play 3 tunes. Lord of the Isles, which is a march I wrote from my Iona music, followed by Queen Elizabeth's Highland Ball. That was inspired by, we were at Balmoral Castle a couple of years ago. It's really because I play at Crathy Kirk. We got an invite, and it was quite an interesting occasion. But it was good crack. That's it, Strathspey, and then I'm going to play Warriors of the Carmen again to finish up. There you go.
Sorry if I put you off on my dancing.
No, you didn't. It kind of happened. I was kind of thumping my feet quite hard, and I saw the telly go like this, and it totally caught my eye. So anyway, it's still there. So don't worry, folks. Right, when we shock in the box, eh?
Oh, well, let's do the what's in the box. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Right, we've got a few guesses. Andrew Brandy thinks
there's the beer as well.
Andrew Brandy thinks a Jew's heart. Dorian Wood thinks a cream egg, but I said that cream egg it wouldn't even last as long to get to the box in my house.
No,
I do
probably
like
not.
them
I'll hate hide
quite
him.
a lot.
Roddy, does Roddy like
No,
him?
Roddy doesn't like them. Me and Hector do.
Aye,
Quite a lot.
he's got a sweet tooth.
Jamie Bowers thinks a badge or a brooch. Katinka Baxton thinks a thimble. Bonnie thinks a plastic heart box, so a box in a box. Frank Ribbons thinks a cotton reel, and Sandy Thompson thinks a commemorative coin. So the beer, Jamie Bowers thinks Sky Gold. Harry Lash thinks Lochfine Yarrow beer. Sandy White thinks Nessie by Cairngorm Brewery. Shona Robertson thinks White Lady. Frank thinks Isle of Skye, and Sandy Thompson thinks Light Ness beer.
Okay.
And hello to Sue Taylor in Orkney and Bruno in Dijon.
Hello.
Hello.
Like, I'm going to come out the road and leave you till it's short.
Okay. Sorry, can you pass me over that bottle of water? I had to do a quick scoot up the stairs when Paul was playing that. Just about 10 minutes before we started, Roddy came down the stairs saying he'd an aphasia eye, and starting to a sear he gets bothered by migraines. He's the same as me, he gets sore eyes and things. So I was just running upstairs to check that he was alright, and he's sound asleep in my bed. So he's fine. His big brother's looking after him. So I'm going to sing... well, since it's Valentine's Day on Sunday, just reminding you, if you need a little reminder, you've got a day to get something. I thought I would sing this beautiful love song. It's maybe not of the type of love song that you're thinking, but it still is. I class it as a love song. And it's a song written, an Edinburgh song, written by a man called Davy Robertson. And it's called Star of the Bar. So you might not think it's your typical love song, but I think it's quite sweet in its own way. I'll sing ye a song if you'll give us your attention. It's nae song of pity, it's nae song of woe, and no word of honour or love will I mention. I'll sing, oh, well, I say, I kent long ago, nae better than mist, and nae worse as money, and what drew me to her's no easy to say, for she was coarse and she was heartless, and she wasna that bonny. Ah, but she was the star o' the bar in her day. I've stravaged the Royal Mile wi' her, drinking in style wi' her, Rose Street fae end to end of time surveyed. I've fought and swore in the pubs wi' her, rolled in the dubs wi' her, cadged money subs fae her, never repaid. Nor better than mist, and nae worse as money, and what drew me to her's no easy to say, for she was coarse and she was heartless, and she wasna that bonny. Ah, but she was the star o' the bar in her day. Aye, ye lads wi' young lasses, believe me, love soon passes, and aye, your bericht dreams are like straw in the wind. Better in who'll sit down wi' ye, play a fine tune wi' ye, pass the glass around wi' ye, drink yoursel blind. Nae better than mist, and nae worse as money, and and she was heartless, and she wasna that bonny. Ah, but she was a star o' the barren hardy, nae better than maist, and nae worse as money. And what drew me to her's no easy to say, for she was coarse and she was heartless, and she wasna that bonny. Ah, but she was the star o' the barren hardy. Star of the Bar by David Robertson. Right, have you got any notifications before I go and pick this all in?
Sandy White, your Uncle Tommy and Joe Aitken have all said, oh, a great song, a cracking song, great lyrics, that sort of thing. Sandy Archer for the States says, so beautiful. So there you go. And Audley Gwynnick, she says that she thinks it's a stone for Cairngorm.
Okay.
In the box.
Right, do you want to wake me around while I go and...
Alright. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's just move it back a little bit and get a barrel round, and you could tell me what you think.
Oh, you're a bit skew with there. Just, aye, that's it. That's it. And run this way a wee bit, eh? Aye. That'll do, that'll be fine.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure it'll be fine. You can go and check it from this side if you want.
Oh no, you're alright.
Okay, so this song, I've been sitting at the piano looking out at the snowdrift, and it's been dinging on, and I feel like I haven't seen sky in ages. In fact, we were in the car the day nipping over at the Copy in a vine, and Roddy said, oh, look, I can see a patch of blue sky, and they got awful excited about it. Sorry, I'm just going to straighten myself up a wee bit. The boys were awful excited about it. So it put me in mind of this song, and just hopefully it won't be too long before we see a lark in the clear air. So this is actually a song, the words were written in the 18th century by Samuel Ferguson, and the tune is an Irish air called The Tailor. So I'll sing The Lark in the Clear Air. Excuse me. Dear thoughts are in my mind, and my soul it soars enchanted as I hear the sweet lark sing in the clear air of the day. For a tender beaming smile, my hope has been granted, and tomorrow he shall hear all my fond heart longs to say. I will tell him of my love, all my soul's pure adoration, and I know he'll hear my voice, and he will not answer me nay. It is this that gives my soul all its core joy and elation, as I hear the sweet lark sing in soul it soars enchanted as I hear the sweet lark sing in the clear air of the day. For a tender beaming smile to my hope has been granted, and tomorrow he shall hear all my fond heart longs to say, and tomorrow he shall hear all my fond heart longs to say. There you go. Mark in the clear air.
That's a beautiful song.
It's a lovely song. I was listening to Kenneth McKellar singing it earlier, and in fact, Allard Jones recorded it as well when he was 16.
Oh well.
So, well, I know. So, yeah, it's one of these sort. It kind of reminds me a wee bit of kind of like Mary of Argyle and Annie Laurie. It's kind of maybe a wee bit.
I like
It is
that.
beautiful. It's a lovely song.
It sounds familiar, but I kind of think I've ever heard
It
it.
was used as a theme tune for a radio program in Ireland. I think. Like donkeys ago.
Yeah.
So.
Oh well.
Oh well. Well, we do what's in the box.
Yep.
Oh, what's in the box? So what's in the box? 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 Sorry, I totally just lost the feed here for.
Right. As I was getting myself ready in the shower, Shona went to find something, and there was only one person that came quite close. It said a stain, but this is a special stain. This. It's a heart-shaped stain.
It's a heart-shaped stone.
That was picked up from Rosmarkie Beach on the 10th anniversary of our wedding, and we had a few days in Inverness.
Well, what we were thinking about doing for our 10th anniversary. Now, how many years ago is that?
3.
3 years ago. 4.
No, 4.
4
It'll
years
be
ago.
4 this October.
Yeah, so we
So
were.
it's heart-shaped.
We were going to be going to Paris because that's where we went on honeymoon, but then Paul got a DVT in his leg, so we decided to go to Inverness instead. And actually had a brilliant time in Inverness. And on the last day, we had 2 nights in Inverness. And on the last day, before we came home, we went up to the Black Isle and we had a lovely romantic walk along the beach. And Paul picked up that stone.
Yes, I did.
And yeah. So
Paris is alright as well, of
Paris
course.
is alright, but prefer Inverness. Rosemarkie's better.
Well, I do like Inverness, and well, I'm hard not to please when it comes to Scotland, but anyway, it's an alternative to going to Paris. It turned out to be a great weekend.
We had a lovely meal in the Mustard Seed. And
the owner came in.
It was really weird because we were sitting upstairs in the Mustard Seed in Inverness having a lovely meal, and there was a guy come in just at the back of us and sat down, and we got yapping at him, and we'd said it was our 10th anniversary, and that was why we were having a weekend in Inverness. And the next thing, a bottle of champagne appears, and it was the owner that we'd been speaking to, so it was very nice. And then the next night we went to Eden Court to see a show, which was brilliant actually.
It was, I forget the name of it, but it
So
was
like
about
Sun City or something.
It was at Sun Records. Sun City was in South Africa.
Okay, Sun Records then.
Aye, just you got to think apartheid.
It
when
was
you're
so
thinking about
brilliant
that.
I couldn't mind the name of it.
But it was about it was based around the day when Elvis Presley, Jerry Lee Lewis, Johnny Cash, and
If I was in her boy, I can't mind it.
He's that famous, I can't mind.
Anyway, there was another in it.
I mean, Carl Perkins,
Yeah.
and they were all together, and it's the only time they were ever all in the same room together. And there was one recording of them playing, and they spent a whole afternoon. But the show was basically their great hits, or a lot of their hits.
Wasn't it?
And I really enjoyed it. I would say I want everybody to go and see that show because the
It was
cast were
brilliant.
fantastic as well.
Yeah.
Jerry Lewis seemed to have got the lion's share of the comedy lines, mind you, because nobody could find he was at the time, and he was desperate to be famous.
Federica was just saying, I hope you're composing your wife a tune for this weekend. I've got quite a few tunes that Paul's written actually.
Yes, you do.
So
Yes, you do. So
I'm
anyway,
very happy. I'm very lucky in that respect.
and the beer,
The beer, nobody guessed it
very
right.
nearly an ex-beer, but it's probably just as well I took my time because it's very, very strong. It's in a tin at this particular one, and it's made by the Drygate Brewing Company, and it's called Crossing the Rubicon. and it's a West Coast IPA. It's 6.9%, boys and girls. Folk like Steve Hancock, you only need 2. So there you go. It's quite a formidable ale.
Dry Grape Brewery. In normal times, that's where there's stuff at the late night sessions for Celtic Connections are, and I mind one year at Celtic Connections a few years ago that I was doing playing, and my mum and dad come doing it, and I was playing at St Andrews in the Square, and then we went back to the Dry Grape Brewery to play a late night session, and we got locked in the Dry Grape Brewery, and Dad was meant to be doing Dry January, which stopped that night because he actually had a lock-in in a brewery.
What a horrible experience, locked in the brewery.
Federica's asking where we got it. I think it might have been in the Copy in a Boyne, actually. I bought it, but I can't remember far.
It wasn't in Strathans, was it?
Oh, no, I don't think it was in Strathans. Far have I been? Far have I been? I'm trying to think far I've been. I've never been nowhere.
The Copy in a Boyne.
The Copy in a Boyne is about the length of it,
it's
actually.
a highlight of our week. The minute this and got the co-op.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thanks for looking in, folks. Nice to see you
yeah,
again.
Really great.
We'll be back next week again.
49! We're getting close to a whole year.
It's getting really close now.
I just noticed Danielle Lumsden and all the Lumsden clan are looking in tonight from a lockdown Melbourne in Australia.
So, anyway, I might do a workshop next Wednesday. I was thinking of possibly what I did in a couple of weeks ago, and I'm thinking, I'll maybe do just for a crack if anybody wants to look in on Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, 7 PM UK time. And then obviously we'll be back next Friday, 8 PM for Live in the Lounge 49. I like to think, it'll be a couple of tunes that I can very well again, probably. Or I just played so many things that we can really well, I suppose.
Aye. If anybody wants to bung us on any suggestions for tunes or songs, because we are very nearly at a year.
Careful.
And actually we've not doubled any of them up too. I mean, I've done a couple of songs a couple of times, but actually I'll hate to work out how many songs it is that
there's a few tunes I've done out, but there's so many that I've never played. I mean, a lot of the stuff I've been doing on Friday nights, I didn't ken it that well, so I've had to hear music.
Well, you've done a good job for not kenning it that well. She's so.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes me sweat to concentrate, but because normally if you're out doing a concert or you're playing at a session, you're playing stuff that you can play practically asleep. You ken it that well, but playing stuff that you didn't ken that well, really, it's been good exercise. Just playing new stuff and hate to concentrate.
Giving the brain cells a workout, isn't
yes,
it?
it is.
So, if you have enjoyed tonight and you fancy chucking something in the tip jar, it would be appreciated. It's www.paypal.me/Paul Anderson Shona Dawn. That's right, isn't it? Mm-hmm. paypal.me/Shona Paul Anderson Shona Dawn. I'll put a link in it anyway.
So, we're going to finish up with a jig. It's an old Scottish jig called The Weaver and His Wife.
That's quite romantic for Valentine's Day.
Valentine's? Scotland's the most romantic country in the world.
Jim Taylor says Scotland's got more love songs that I'll ever need. That's quite right.
I'll be racked enough for it.
Are you doing it once or twice?
I'll do it twice.
Okay, with repeats?
Aye.
Okay.
2, 3. Quite
a rosy glow in you after that. That's crossing the Rubicon, 7%.
Put a glow in my cheeks. So anyway, nice to see you folks. Take care. Watch the roads this weekend because it's going to be icy again tonight.
We shouldn't be getting anyway.
No, you shouldn't. Actually, to be quite honest, it's not.
But watch the roads if you are gone for your essentials.
And I was going to say keep out the pub, but you can't.
Go in the pub.
Kind of go anyway. So, but take care. We'll see you next week. Cheers, folks.
Cheerio.